The Enigma of Melchizedek, the King and Priest Without Genealogy. Part 1. The Introduction. Sowing the Seeds of Mystery. Welcome, seekers of ancient truths, as the flickering candlelight casts long shadows upon the sacred texts. Tonight, we delve into one of the Bible's most profound and perplexing enigmas, a figure who appears like a phantom from the mists of antiquity, a king and priest whose very existence challenges our understanding of lineage, authority, and divine appointment. Who was Melchizedek? This mysterious figure of Salem, who blessed Abraham and received his tithes, yet remains without recorded parentage, without beginning or end. How can such a pivotal character, seemingly so crucial to God's unfolding plan, emerge from the narrative with no traceable roots, no genealogical anchor in a world utterly defined by family lines? We stand at the precipice of a profound biblical mystery, one that promises to unveil deeper truths about the nature of priesthood, the sovereignty of God, and perhaps even a prefigurement of the Christ himself. Join us as we illuminate the shadowy corridors of Scripture to uncover the enduring legacy of Melchizedek. Part 2. The Journey of Deep Discovery. A. The historical and cultural context amidst the dawn of nations. To truly appreciate the mystery of Melchizedek, we must transport ourselves back to the ancient Near East, to a time preceding the Mosaic Law, before the establishment of a formal Levitical priesthood. This was a world of burgeoning city-states, tribal loyalties, and polytheistic worship, where the concept of a single, transcendent God was a radical notion. Abraham, newly called by God, was a sojourner in a foreign land, a patriarch whose destiny was still unfolding. When we encounter Melchizedek in Genesis 14, Abraham has just returned from rescuing Lot, a triumph over a coalition of powerful kings. It is in this crucible of conflict and conquest that Melchizedek, king of Salem and priest of God Most High, steps into the light. His sudden appearance, unannounced and unexplained, stands in stark contrast to the meticulous genealogies that typically preface or follow significant biblical figures. This absence of a family tree is not merely an oversight. It is, as we shall see, a deliberate and theologically charged silence. B. Decoding the Scripture, the brief, potent encounters. Our primary textual encounters with Melchizedek are strikingly brief yet immensely powerful. First, in Genesis 14:18-20, then Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High, and he blessed Abram and said, "Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth. And praise be to God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand." Then Abram gave him a tenth of everything. Consider the profound implications here. Abraham, the patriarch chosen by God, the recipient of monumental promises, receives a blessing from Melchizedek and gives him tithes. This act of tithing signifies Melchizedek's superior authority, for the lesser is blessed by the greater, and tithes are offered to one of higher standing. Melchizedek is identified as King of Salem, understood to be an early name for Jerusalem and priest of God Most High, El Elyon. This title for God is significant. It is a universal designation, not restricted to a particular tribal deity, suggesting a recognition of the one true God even among the Canaanite peoples, or at least a bridge between Abraham's understanding and a pre-existing, legitimate priesthood. The second mention, a prophetic whisper, is found in Psalm 110:4. The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever, in the order of Melchizedek. This psalm, attributed to David, is a messianic prophecy, pointing to a future king who will also hold an eternal priesthood, not according to the Levitical order established through Aaron, but in the order of Melchizedek. This verse elevates Melchizedek from a singular historical figure to a template, a paradigm for a future, superior priesthood. The most extensive commentary on Melchizedek comes in the New Testament, within the book of Hebrews, chapters 5, 6, and 7. Here, The author expounds on Melchizedek's significance in relation to Jesus Christ. Hebrews 7:1-3 is particularly illuminating. This Melchizedek was king of Salem and priest of God Most High. He met Abraham returning from the defeat of the kings and blessed him, and Abraham gave him a tenth of everything. First, the name Melchizedek means king of righteousness. Then also, king of Salem means king of peace. Without father or mother, without genealogy, without beginning of days or end of life, resembling the Son of God, he remains a priest forever. This passage explicitly addresses the genealogical silence, not as a missing piece of information, but as a deliberate theological statement. Without father or mother, without genealogy, without beginning of days or end of life, is not an assertion that he was literally without parents or immortal in the divine sense, but rather that his origins are not recorded, making his priesthood independent of earthly lineage, a stark contrast to the Levitical priesthood, which was strictly hereditary. This unique qualification allows him to resemble the Son of God, implying a symbolic prefigurement of Christ's eternal, non-Levitical priesthood. C. The hidden theological meaning, a priesthood beyond lineage. The profound theological meaning of Melchizedek lies primarily in his portrayal as a prefigurement of Jesus Christ and his superior, eternal priesthood. The Old Covenant's Levitical priesthood was temporary, imperfect, and dependent on human lineage, requiring continuous sacrifices. Melchizedek, however, transcends these limitations. His titles, King of Righteousness, Melchizedek, and King of Peace, Salem, resonate deeply with the character and reign of Christ, who is both our righteousness and our peace. The bread and wine he offers to Abraham are often seen as a symbolic foreshadowing of the Eucharist, the body and blood of Christ offered for the new covenant. The core theological insight is that Melchizedek's priesthood is forever, not bound by the finite lifespan or genealogical requirements of the Levitical order. This eternal nature is precisely what makes him a fitting type for Christ. The author of Hebrews argues that Christ's priesthood is superior because it is in the order of Melchizedek, established not by the law of a physical command concerning ancestry, but by the power of an indestructible life. Hebrews 7:16. This new order signifies a new covenant, one that perfects and supersedes the old, offering a path to God that is not through animal sacrifice and human mediation, but through the perfect, once-for-all sacrifice of Christ himself, our great high priest. The mystery of his unrecorded genealogy further emphasizes this. By having no stated beginning or end, he stands outside of time and human limitation, pointing to one whose priesthood truly is eternal, rooted in his divine nature. D. Controversies and theories, unveiling the interpretations. The enigmatic nature of Melchizedek has naturally given rise to various interpretations and some fascinating controversies throughout history. One significant debate revolves around his identity. Was he a mere mortal priest-king, divinely appointed but fully human, whose lack of recorded genealogy is simply an intentional narrative device by the author of Hebrews to highlight Christ's superiority? Or was he perhaps a pre-incarnate appearance of Jesus Christ himself, a theophany or Christophany? The argument for a pre-incarnate Christ gains traction from the description in Hebrews 7:3, resembling the Son of God. If he were literally without father or mother, without beginning or end, then he could only be divine. However, the prevailing scholarly view is that he was a human figure whose description is used metaphorically and typologically by the author of Hebrews to emphasize Christ's unique and eternal priesthood. The lack of genealogy is a theological silence, not a literal claim about his non-human origin. The author uses this silence to build a powerful argument about Christ's superior qualifications. Another area of discussion involves the implications of a legitimate priest of God Most High existing outside the Abrahamic lineage and before the Mosaic Law. This suggests that God always had a witness and a means of connecting with humanity, even among nations not directly descended from Abraham, hinting at the universal scope of God's redemptive plan. It challenges a narrow, exclusive view of salvation and revelation, reminding us that God's truth can echo in unexpected places. Finally, some discussions center on the implications for Christian doctrine concerning the nature of priesthood and the eternal validity of Christ's sacrifice. The order of Melchizedek solidifies the understanding that Christ's role as high priest is not merely a temporary function, but an eternal reality, securing our access to God for all time. Part 3. The conclusion, an eternal echo. The mystery of Melchizedek, the king and priest without a recorded past or future, serves as far more than a mere historical curiosity. It is a profound theological signpost, meticulously placed in Scripture to illuminate the incomparable glory of Jesus Christ. From the mists of Salem, he emerges, a fleeting yet powerful figure whose very silence speaks volumes about a priesthood greater than any human institution, a reign founded on righteousness and peace, not on earthly lineage. His enigmatic presence compels us to reflect on the deeper patterns within God's redemptive story. How often does the divine work in ways that defy our neat categories, appearing suddenly, breaking through established norms, to unveil a truth far grander than we could have imagined? Melchizedek reminds us that God's plan is sovereign, eternal, and not confined by human expectations or traditions. As we ponder this ancient king-priest, may we not only marvel at his mystery, but also deepen our awe for the high priest of our own faith, Jesus Christ, whose eternal priesthood, in the order of Melchizedek, secures our peace and righteous standing before God forever. What does this ancient, silent figure reveal to you about the boundless nature of our Creator and the eternal dimensions